What's up guys, Dan from the Headwaters Kayak Shop, and behind me I have a very exciting build. We built this up for the ISE show in Sacramento and we called it the Titan Dream Build. If you've been watching our Instagram story, I've been posting a lot about this, but it's all done and I just wanted to give you guys a detailed look at the Titan 10.5 Dream Build. So over the past year we've done a bunch of Titan 10.5 builds and every build is slightly different, but we decided to take what we liked about a lot of the builds we did and incorporate them in one boat and kind of highlight what we thought would be our ideal Titan 10.5. So I'm just going to give you guys a front to back walkthrough. Hopefully it gives you some ideas if you are a Titan owner and you want to trick yours out, or really any kayak. A lot of this stuff is universal. It can be done to anything. So starting at the front, this is all stock. We've got the front handle, hatch, rod tusk, stay stock. And when we moved to the drive, you'll notice we did a couple of upgrades here. We switched out to BMX style pedals. I like these because you can take the pegs off of one side for using it barefoot and then keep the pegs on the other side if you're using it with boots. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. They're also sealed, so the bearings run a lot smoother. The stock pedals tend to squeak, and this is just a nice, cheap upgrade. We have these available at the shop. We can also get them on Amazon. Down here, you'll notice that we added the stopgap weed guard. Again, I like this weed guard because it doesn't spin. It actually stays put on that little insert cartridge that goes into the drive. And it just doesn't tend to break, keeps the weeds out. And what you'll find is even if you get weeds caught up in here, you can just back off or remove the weeds a lot easier than if they're jammed up in there. So definitely a worthwhile upgrade no matter what native kayak you have. We put the Yak Attack Zuka 2 rod holder on here with the lock and load base. We're a real big fan of the lock and load system. We're using that on our rod holders as well as our fish finder mount. We didn't go crazy with the fish finder. We put a Helix 5 on there. One, because it's a unit that we had around the shop, but in general, we just really like the Humminbird product. We feel like a 5-inch is stout, durable, works really well on a kayak. Kind of lends itself to the size of the boat. I know a lot of guys are going 7 and 9, but how we control our electronics is done through this little panel right here. So this is a Yak power system, and you'll see we have bow lights, stern lights, and those are meant to light up the inside of the kayak. You could do them on the outside as well if you wanted navigation lights, which technically if I'm running this boat at night, I should have. So something I would add. And then power 1 is for the fish finder unit. And then I have a couple other leads here that are not powered. The M you could run your motor off of if you wanted to, but we have a Torpedo setup, so the battery and all the electronics run through this box right here. So this little guy here is pretty custom. That's actually from the automotive industry, and it's basically like a little meter holder, a gauge holder. And what we do is we just drill the same size hole in the side, run the wires, and then we can attach this, so it basically brings it up at a 90-degree angle so you can have easy access to all your buttons. Other upgrades we did here is a Boondocks landing gear. Almost standard on every Titan that we build. We just feel like on this particular boat, this is the best system. It also helps guide our Torpedo line. You see how we use the top of it to mount a T-bolt in, to mount these little eyelets. These are actually set up for tie downs, right? So if you wanted to tie something down in the crate, but they make a great way to line up the cables. And then we added a little cleat here, and that raises and lowers our Torpedo system. Now you notice our Torpedo is not mounted with a standard Torpedo mount. We use the Slipstream. This is the Slipstream mount by Easy Mounts. And we really like this mount setup because it is easy to work with. It's easy to install. You see 2 screws here in the back. We install it right there just with T-bolts. So it's easy on and off. If I wanted to remove this whole system, all I got to do is pull this pin, unplug the motor, and the motor comes right off. The motor does not have steering. We have it set straight, but because the Titan is so maneuverable and so easy to control with the understern rudder, we feel like it's not really a necessity to have on this boat. Basically, that's your propulsion to get you from point A to point B. And then when you get to your spot, you'll still find the pedal drive to be the most maneuverable, easiest to control your kayak while you're fishing. So as you chase the power cord up here, you'll see it goes into the power pod right there underneath your seat. And then you have your power wire going in as well as your control wire. The control wire comes out to here. And we mounted this little Torpedo thing onto a lock and load base and basically just used a fish finder mount and customized it. Now we see that there's a specific mount that Yak Attack and Torpedo are partnering on that basically does this exact same thing, but This one we customized. There, you power it up, and then right on the side of your seat you have a nice easy control for your motor, just like on a boat. And if one wanted to, you can move it up here. We just felt that it got a little cluttered, and it's still fairly easy to reach, just right at your hip there. So let's talk a little bit about the fish finder rigging. You'll see we put a through-hole fitting right in here, and then obviously the wiring goes inside. I'll show you that in a second. And then we pop the transducer wire out right here, and it's got a nice clean area for it to come out and then go down underneath the boat. And the cool part is, you see there when the cover's on, it actually completely covers that area. And then underneath you have your transducer mount. And this is just a basic transducer. You can see this is what they used to look like before, down scan, side scan, and everything. The nice thing about this is it actually will tuck up in the boat. It's a little bit lower than the nose. Get a nice clear reading. You're not going to get cavitation or air bubbles around your transducer. And obviously this would allow you to fit a much bigger transducer unit in there if you wanted to do that. We went ahead and upgraded to the Burley Pro steering lines. And the reason for that is, you can see it just gives it almost a 90-degree kick. It also strengthens the entire system. They've got a new plate on here, which makes it much easier to adjust the tension of your cables, which is nice. You don't have to tie any fancy knots. It just screws on. And then in the back, we went ahead and added the Boondocks rudder. And the Boondocks rudder on this boat in particular, the 10.5, really helps it track in a straight line. If you're fishing big reservoirs or open water, that's the one downside of the 10.5 and the stock rudder, is it tends to wander. So this just allows you to go straighter, have more control, and better tracking on those windy days. Dakota Lithium too. Oh yeah, I was going to show you that. I almost forgot. Dakota Lithium, we've been using it on a lot of our builds. We're really happy with the overall battery life that you get out of this. This will run a 5-inch, a 7-inch, even a 9-inch fish finder. 12 volt, 10 amp hour, incredibly lightweight. Just really happy with that. And then back there, it looks a little cluttered, but that's our wiring harness. And one of my complaints about the Yak Gear wiring harness is the wire that goes from the actual harness to this piece is fairly short. So you kind of have to tuck it way back in there. So we leave the wires a little long so we still have access if we need to get in there and plug some more stuff in or take some stuff out. And then you'll see all the extra transducer wire right there, zip tied in. And then this guy, we use Velcro just to attach it in there. So hopefully you guys, that answers some questions for you, or at least gives you some ideas on what to think about. We're always building boats for people. We're always willing to listen to new ideas. So if you have a build that you want to do, come see us. In fact, why don't I just show you what's going on? I'll take a step into the rigging area. Matt's always got something in the stand. Let's see what he's up to today. What do you got going on, Matt?
We got fish finder, the new Lowrance Total Scan. That thing's got a big transducer.
Let's have a look at that.
Yeah, so this is a larger transducer, and it isn't flush in there, but the sides and the nose drop down far enough that that doesn't touch the ground when this is laying flat, so it's still well protected.
Look at that thing.
It's big.
And this one you're doing an anchor trolley on?
Yeah, we did it.
Same lighting setup, it looks like.
Yep, and then we also have the power port back here, which that opens up and takes a Yak power plug.
So you could put USB, you could put really any of the Yak power accessories would fit right into that plug.
And then we have the same lights, steering upgrade, rudder, landing gear, the basics, and also a mighty mount up here.
So yeah, Matt's always back here working on something, you guys. If you like this kind of stuff, you want to see what's going on behind the scenes, I always try to get him on the Instagram story because he's always tinkering with something in the back. And for all you guys that are new subscribers because of the Bonafide giveaway, thank you guys so much. We're getting close. We've got about 500 subscribers new to the channel since I posted that video. We still have a little ways to go, but each day we're getting several hundred more. So it's going to happen soon, and I look forward to giving all this stuff away. If you haven't done so already, go click on that video, comment on that video, and enter a chance to win all of this gear. So thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, this is Dan, as always, wishing you happy paddling. We'll see you on the next one.